Welcome to Justice, a lawyer's hangout, where we dissect legal issues and educate the public on the law. I am Chizaram Lilian Oike, and here with me today is my colleague who is joining me virtually, Mr. Ben Osor. Mr. Ben, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Cesar, for having me
Thank you
and
so
our
much.
esteemed audience.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the difference between civil and criminal matters and the troubling misuse of police authority. Now, too often, disputes meant for the courtroom find their way into police cells, raising questions about rights, due process, and accountability. Now, let's dive into it. Now, Mr. Ben, what is the fundamental difference between a civil matter and a criminal matter in the eyes of the law?
Thank you very much, Cesar.
Yes.
I will try to make it simple as much as possible so that everyone can follow.
Yes.
To be very clear, when we say civil matter, it means a dispute involving the rights and duties of persons towards one another. So the court has made provision for a system whereby an individual who is injured or who is aggrieved by the wrongful act of another
Right.
can seek redress. On the other hand, when we say criminal matter, yes, on the other hand, arises where a person or group of persons has contravened the law of the state. So when we say the law of the state, it can either be an act of the National Assembly
Right.
or law as passed by House of Assembly of respective states. But a very important issue that must be very set out here is for a matter or for an act or an omission to be classified as an offense or a crime, it must be known to law.
Right.
And punishment prescribed. What that means is such acts must be classified as such, and also the punishment thereof must also be well spelled out in the written law.
Right.
So this one is well encapsulated by provision of Section 36, subsection 12 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, that a person cannot be convicted of a crime except that crime is in the written law, and also the penalty thereof is also well spelled out. And also this what was also captured in the celebrated case of Aoko and Fagbemi
Right.
as far back as 1963. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much. Like you mentioned, a civil matter is a dispute between two people or over a right, obligations, or even a property. Now, and also a criminal matter rather is an offense against the state. Now, Mr. Ben, why do you think many people in Nigeria often confuse civil disputes with criminal offenses? Do you think it is a matter of ignorance or desperation?
The issue of, in my experience, the conflation of civil dispute with criminal the offenses in Nigeria
Right.
is driven by a combination of not just ignorance and desperation only. Ignorance also has a part to play there. Desperation has a part to play. Malice, harassment, the systemic inefficiencies
Right.
also have a way to play there. And also now we talked about many Nigerians, let me bring it home.
Right.
Many Nigerians simply do not understand the fundamental legal distinction between civil wrongs, which concern private rights and remedies, and criminal offenses,
Right.
which are considered wrong against the state, actually. So now some persons, because of ignorance, they might want to, when there is civil wrong, instead of them to sort it out maybe through the ADRO or ventilate it in the court of a competent jurisdiction, they will take the matter to police or any other law enforcement agent, which is not legally supported.
Right.
So now we also talk about desperation and systemic failure. you will agree with me that that litigation is generally cumbersome.
Right, of
And
course.
also quite expensive, and also we have court
Processes,
adjournment
yes,
are
yes.
frequent, and also enforcement of judgment is also another uphill task. But now some persons will not say, okay, let me just take a shortcut. Let me, instead of me to go to court and also or explore ADR, alternative dispute resolution, let me go to any law enforcement agency which unfortunately has made themselves a willing tool in the hands of desperate citizens, which ordinarily ought not to be. Also malice and strategic harassment also has a role to play there.
Right.
There are instances where citizens will know that this is a civil wrong. But instead of me to take it to court or explore that ways to resolve it, let me just take it to law enforcement agency in order to harass that person. Maybe because they feel they have money that the other will greater respect, or
right.
They feel they can overpower such persons. So they want to, that's just a shared, that's not ignorance, that's malice and strategic harassment. So that's what I would say there. But unfortunately, as we see it, those law enforcement agencies, law enforcement agents are not, they are not helping matters in this whole thing. They are making themselves willing tools. They're making themselves tools in the hands of all those desperate citizens.
Right.
Whether as a result of maybe as a result of maybe ignorance, or as a result of
desperation
or
or malice.
I don't really know what to really call it. Desperation, malice, as the case may be.
Yes.
So law enforcement agencies have made themselves tools in the hands of those persons.
Now, Mr. Ben, we've seen cases where people report unpaid debts, failed business transactions, or landlord-tenant issues to the police. Now, is this proper under the Nigerian law?
Under the Nigerian law, this is not proper.
Yes.
Because that's just the simple answer. Now, do you know that for example, the Nigeria Police Force is created by the Nigeria Police Act, which have amended 2020. So now, there is nothing, even in Section 4, which talks about the primary functions of the police, and also even Part 7. We started from Section 31 down to Section 70. We talked about the power of police officers.
Right.
There is nowhere in the entire gamut of the Nigeria Police Act 2020 that gave police the power to intervene or even interfere in civil transactions.
Right.
But unfortunately, what we see in the system in these days, that we see them doing that, which they don't have the legal backing to do. Specifically, even Section 32, subsection 2 of the Police Act 2020, and Section 2, subsection 2, Section 8, beg your pardon, Section 8, subsection 2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, and also which are domesticated in most of the states in Nigeria. For example, in Delta State, also captured in Section 64, subsection 2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Delta State 2022. Those sections which I just made reference to specifically prohibit the arrest of an individual, of a person, over any civil wrong whatsoever,
right,
or breach of contract. So those sections, that it means if police are not going outside that, it means they are even contravening the very act that creates them. And also our courts have an opportunity to really intervene and also speak against this in so many cases, both at the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. So that time will not permit me to really give out the cases.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ben, for that. Now, to further add to what you said, the police have no jurisdiction to arrest or detain anyone for such matters unless there's evidence of a criminal element like fraud, threat, or theft. Thank you so much, Mr. Ben, for joining us. Now we're going to take a short break.
Camera rolling. Light set. Sound check. And action.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's program.
A program where we get to talk about the daily happenings around the
legal
world.
issues with intent to educate.
This is the perfect space to create professional quality videos, recording news, podcasts, and all media content. With top-of-the-line cameras, studio lighting, soundproof spaces, we provide everything you need for a seamless shoot. Our fully equipped studio ensures high quality.
Camera rolling. Light set. Sound check. And action.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's program.
A program where we get to talk about the daily happenings around the
legal
world.
issues with intent to educate.
This is the perfect space to create professional quality videos, recording news, podcasts, and all media content. With top-of-the-line cameras, studio lighting, soundproof spaces, we provide everything you need for a seamless shoot. Our fully equipped studio ensures high-quality production every time. Enjoy a comfortable, air-conditioned environment with professional-grade gear and expert support. Contact us now or visit our Abuja location to reserve your spot.
Welcome back to Justice, a lawyer's hangout, where we dissect legal issues and educate the public on the law. Now, with me here today again is Mr. Ben Oso. Mr. Ben Oso, are you still there? Hello, Mr. Ben, are you still there?
I can hear you. I can. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yes. I believe that before we went on the break, we were discussing the difference between civil and criminal matters and the troubling misuse of police authority. Now, Mr. Ben, what does the law say about the powers of the police in civil disputes? Are they legally allowed to intervene, arrest, or detain in any such cases, Mr. Ben?
Thank you very much. They are not. Let me tell you the simplest thing. They are not allowed or detained in civil matters. Even the courts have, like the Supreme Court in the case of Kore and Commissioner of Police reported in 2029 Nigeria Weekly Law Reports. Part 1729,
Right.
296, which is 296 at 326. The Supreme Court states that police is not a debt recovery agency, and it has no business whatsoever to dabble into civil disputes or contractual transactions. So now, and also that even the EFCC, even law enforcement, none of them have the power to dabble into civil disputes. That also, as I've earlier pointed out, the act which even created police, which is the Nigeria Police Act 2020, yes, as very clear in section 32, subsection 2, very clear that an individual also cannot be arrested for civil wrong or breach of contract. But unfortunately, what we see these days is very different. And with the greater respect, that is not legally permissible.
Yes, like you mentioned, but Mr. Ben, what are the legal and constitutional implications when someone is wrongfully arrested or detained in a civil matter?
Yes, an individual who is aggrieved with unlawful interference in civil claims by the police or any of the law enforcement agencies is afforded a catalog of remedies. Now, the remedies span from you can actually bring an action against that law enforcement agency solely jointly with individual who instigated that unlawful act, you can actually file a fundamental rights enforcement action against such person.
Right.
Or also you can also file a civil action for false imprisonment, and also you can also file for malicious prosecution. So I know that you can claim heavily against such individuals, as court has said in several cases that an individual who instigated police or any of the law enforcement agencies to carry out or to violate the acts of any citizen, such person should also be ready to receive the repercussion of the law. So that's
Right.
just what even the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal have stated a lot of cases. Also in the Court of Appeal case of McLaren against Jennings, reported in 2003 Nigeria Weekly Law Report, part 808, page 470, where the Court of Appeal actually had the opportunity to really condemn the act of police, where they set somebody in Kano and over a civil dispute. Thank you very much.
Right. So now, what should be the correct steps, Mr. Ben, for someone involved in a civil dispute, whether it's a debt recovery, contract breach, or even a property issue?
Now, the first thing you must do when you are aggrieved by the acts of another, because a civil matter actually involves the two persons. Though in real life scenarios, we can see a case where it actually overlap. And like a scenario you might have, you can have a civil litigation or a civil action in court, and somebody brings a document. You can actually raise an allegation of forgery. So or issue of fraud. So when you raise that one now, being a crime, that now has its sole legal implication.
Right.
In that kind of scenario, what happened is that though it's a civil matter, since there is an allegation of crime, that the law expects that allegation must one be specifically pleaded, two, it must be particularized with particulars,
Right.
and third, it will not be proved. It will be proved beyond reasonable doubt. So it
Right.
means when somebody, for you to know all this, you must first, you should seek legal counsel. So when there is maybe issue of debt recovering, or there is breach of contract, failed business, issue of landlord and tenant, what you should do first is to breed a lawyer,
Right.
who will guide you on the appropriate step to take. Going to police or any of the law enforcement agencies is not the right step to take in the eyes of the law. So
Right.
when you brief a lawyer, the lawyer will properly guide you, and also you can even write a formal letter of demand to that person or group of persons that are involved, maybe for them to retract their step or perform their act, as the case may be. But if the person now fails, your lawyer may still advise you more. You'll be left with no other option than to approach a court of competent jurisdiction in a civil matter, not actually a criminal matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ben, for joining me today on today's show. Now, we've seen that knowing the difference between civil and criminal matters isn't just a legal theory. It is a safeguard for our freedom. Now, when the police oversteps, it is not just an abuse of authority, it's a threat to justice itself. Now, join us next time on Justice, a Lawyer's Hangout, and follow us on all social media handles as LJ Nigeria. Until then, bye.